Hi everyone, it's Sal here. Welcome back to another perfume video. I hope you're doing well. So today I wanted to do a really fun video just talking about my signature scents throughout the years. So the perfumes I'm going to be talking about today were my proper signature scents for, certain chapters in my life. All of these perfumes were fragrances that I wore before I properly started my perfume collection. So basically when I was wearing these fragrances, they would have been my only perfume pretty much at that time, because before I started my collection and had my Instagram account and my YouTube channel and things like that, I only really had one or two, maybe three perfumes at the most at one time. So I was having to think about this as well, and I don't know if this video has already been done before as a tag, but if it's not been done already, and if anybody fancies doing this video as well, please consider yourself tagged. I would actually be really interested to hear that, and you might find it fun to create a video about it. So if you fancy doing this video as well, please consider yourself tagged. So before we get started today, get yourself comfortable, grab yourself a drink and a snack, comment below your drink of choice. I have my classic English breakfast tea with me today. And let's jump into today's video. So I have all of my fragrances written down in my notebook here. So how many am I gonna actually talk about today? 3. I've got 6 perfumes to cover today. These are roughly gonna be in timeline order, but I couldn't quite remember exactly when I wore some of these, so they might not exactly be in the right order, but they're roughly in the right order. So first up today, I'm gonna talk about Ghost Sweetheart. Now this is kind of the first perfume I ever remember acquiring. I'm pretty sure it was my first fragrance ever, and I think I was sort of a teenager, I think, when I got it, maybe 14, 15 years old, that kind of thing. And the first time I tried this perfume was in Boots. They had a tester bottle of it out, and I remember spraying it and just being completely entranced by it and taken aback at how nice I thought it smelled at the time. I haven't smelt it in so long, so I can't even really remember exactly how it smells. It would be interesting to go back and smell it again at some point, but I remember at the time really being taken aback at how amazing this fragrance smelled. From what I remember, it's kind of a woody vanilla kind of fragrance, maybe slightly powdery, but I can't quite remember. There might be some peach in it. I really can't quite remember, you guys, but I completely fell in love with this fragrance, and I thought it smelled so grown up, so refined, so amazing. I was absolutely in love with Ghost Sweetheart, and I saved up my pocket money for ages, months, to save up to purchase this fragrance. And when I got it, I used it very, very sparingly because I didn't want to use it up, and I was so precious about it. I don't know, I only used it for special occasions, like if I was actually going out somewhere. I just absolutely loved it, you guys. It was my first ever proper fragrance, and I just absolutely adored it so much. Yeah, it would definitely be interesting to go back and smell it again. Part of me doesn't want to, I don't know why. I'm slightly scared to smell it again in case it's not how I remember or something. I don't know if that's weird, but part of me is a bit scared to actually smell it again. Because it was just so long ago that I had it, and I absolutely adored it, you guys. So let me know in the comments if any of you have tried Ghost Sweetheart, if you like it. I absolutely adored it so much, and I had it as my kind of signature scent, I suppose you could say, when I was 14 or 15, or maybe even younger, I can't quite remember, but it was when I was younger anyway. Yeah, so that's Ghost Sweetheart, a fragrance I absolutely adore. So next up today is a fragrance which I actually have in my collection again, and that is Balenciaga Flora Botanica. So it's this fragrance right here, which shockingly has actually been a repurchase. So I owned a bottle of this, I owned the 50ml bottle, so the shorter bottle, when I was 15, 16 years old, and it was the only perfume I owned at the time. It was just my signature scent, and it's so funny because smelling this, it definitely brought back some memories, like when I first bought it again, and when I smelt it again. It's funny how fragrances can just take you back in time almost, if you know what I mean. So this was my signature scent when I was a teenager, like 15, 16 years old, and it's just such a good one, you guys. The reason I purchased it again is because obviously now, like over the last year, I've been more kind of involved in the like fragrance community, like watching videos on YouTube and things like that, and this fragrance was getting talked about a lot. I kept hearing about it, and it just reminded me of it, if you know what I mean. It just reminded me of this fragrance, hearing reviews of it and things like that, so I decided to purchase it again and add it into my collection again. I just love how this fragrance manages to be so utterly unique without smelling strange, if you know what I mean. You know how you get some perfumes that are extremely unique but almost too much to the point of smelling a bit odd? You know, but this one, it smells beautiful as a perfume. It's just very feminine, very clean, bright, and kind of refreshing, kind of unusual at the same time, and I just absolutely love it. I think part of the allure was the fact that Kristen Stewart was the face, or is the face, of this fragrance, and I absolutely love Kristen Stewart, particularly when I was a teenager, because I really liked Twilight, obviously, and I loved her in that film, and I love her in general, like particularly when I was a teenager, because she had that kind of attitude about her where she doesn't really care what people think of her and things like that, and that was very much me as a teenager. Like I kind of my fashion sense, I suppose, was quite punky, like a bit alternative and things like that, and I was sort of dyeing my hair and like wanting to be different from other people basically, and I think there was just something about Kristen Stewart that I really liked. So yeah, I loved Kristen Stewart as a teenager, and I saw her in an advert for this fragrance, and that's probably what made me want to try it. Also the bottle design, the fact that it was quite unusual, all of those things really appealed to me at the time, because like I am a really creative person, but particularly at that stage in my life I was doing a lot of painting, I was really into my art and things like that, so seeing a really unique, oh sorry, my hair, don't know what my hair is doing. But seeing a really unique bottle design and the advertising campaign and the fact that Kristen Stewart was in it and everything like that just really, really appealed to me. And I gave the fragrance a try and never looked back. So that's Balenciaga Flora Botanica. Next up we have Elie Saab Le Parfum Eau de Toilette. Now this is a fragrance which has now been discontinued. I do have Le Parfum Eau de Parfum version, so I have that one here, but when I was 18 I purchased Elie Saab Le Parfum Eau de Toilette, and that was my signature scent. That was quite a special fragrance for me because I'd kind of got my first job when I was 18, and I remember when I got my first ever pay, like my first ever proper pay, I went uptown and I treated myself to a few different things, but one of the things I treated myself to was that fragrance. And it was so much fun picking it out, so I went to the department store and I tried out a few different fragrances, and I just kind of picked it like on a whim, and it was my, you know, go-to scent for the next year after that, for all of my nights out and things like that, because at that point in my life I was going out all the time with not a care in the world type thing, and that fragrance would very much remind me of those times. Sadly it's no longer available, so like I never really smell it. But yeah, so Elie Saab Le Parfum Eau de Toilette was very much my fragrance, you know, when I was 18, partying and things like that. And it's funny because although I have this fragrance here, and when I smell it, it does kind of remind me of the Eau de Toilette version, but they are really different. So this one is much richer, thicker, heavier, and it's more emphasis on the patchouli. So I remember the Eau de Toilette being much lighter and almost fizzy, like champagne or prosecco, that type of thing. Whereas this fragrance here, the Eau de Parfum, is like much heavier and really quite different in my opinion. But yeah, so that's Elie Saab Le Parfum Eau de Toilette, which was my signature scent for a while as well. Next up we have La Vie Est Belle from Lancôme. Now this fragrance was my signature scent for a while when I was at uni. It's beautiful, you guys. I love this fragrance. I've been very tempted to add it back into my collection. Like I'm very, very tempted to actually. I can't decide between this one or the Intensiment. I am tempted to get both actually because they are quite different to me. Oh my gosh, this fragrance is so, so good. Oh Oh my gosh. So this fragrance was my signature scent. It was a real compliment getter as well. I remember one time I wore it to a lecture and somebody in front of me sort of was turning around looking, being like, oh my gosh, what is that amazing smell? So this fragrance really did attract some positive comments as well. I think because the projecting power is just so vast with this fragrance, you know, people always can smell it on you because it's so strong. Such a bright, loud, fruity floral fragrance. So sweet, so feminine, so happy as well. Very uplifting, very, very flirty, very sweet and absolutely beautiful. I really enjoyed having this one as my signature. It's a really lovely fragrance. So that is La Vie Est Belle. Next up today we have Armani C, just the original C. That was my signature scent for quite a while. Now at this time in my life I was wearing perfume much more often, so I did wear this more or less every other day type thing. So that's actually why I don't think I could purchase this fragrance again. I do have a little sample here of it that I got free with an order, and I smelt it in a video, in my most complimented video. I'll leave a card to that video up here in case you haven't seen it, but I smelt it for the first time in years in that video, and it was quite an intense like experience, you guys. I don't think I could own this fragrance again for that reason. Like, it just has so many scent memories attached. Like, it really, when I smell it, it just completely takes me back in time to that exact chapter in my life. It was sort of when I was in second year at uni, second to third year at uni, and it wasn't like it wasn't such a bad time in my life or anything like that, but it just brings back like memories of you know, people. I don't know, you guys, it's kind of hard to explain. I don't know if any of you have like experienced the same thing. Please let me know in the comments if you've had the same thing where, you know, you've had a signature scent before and then you smell it again and you just think it's a bit too close to home almost. It just brings back too many memories from a certain time in your life and you just couldn't like revisit that fragrance. Well, that's how I feel anyway. I don't know if it's just me, but it was certainly a really interesting experience to be able to try this again. So I'm really grateful that I got this in an order. It was really interesting to try it again, but like I say, it's just too close to home for some reason. Like, it really actually takes me back in time to that exact chapter in my life, like in my head for some reason. I do own C Fiore, so I own that in my collection now. I think it's an absolutely stunning fragrance and it's really different to this. It's very different to the original C anyway, different enough for me to want to have it now, if you know what I mean. And I do really want to try the C Intense because actually the thing is, you guys, I love this fragrance. I think it's amazing, and I'm really tempted to try the C Intense because that might be like different enough to the original for me to like want to have it again. But anyway, so the original Armani C was my signature scent, like proper signature scent that I wore pretty much every day for a good long time. Let me know in the comments if you own this one or if you've had it before as your fragrance. Let me know what you think of it. I know it's certainly a fantastic scent, but not one that I could have again, just for those reasons, you guys. So that's Armani C. And the last fragrance I'm going to be talking about today is Narciso Rodriguez for her Eau de Toilette, the black bottle one. I had that also when I was at uni as a signature scent, kind of later on, like in third year I think. So I wore that as my signature for quite a while. That is an absolutely beautiful fragrance. I'm trying to remember what's in it. There's amber, there's musk, there's bergamot, jasmine, like kind of white florals, and your like musky ambery base to the scent. It's extremely well blended, you know, when you smell it. I don't really know if there's any particular notes that I could pick up on. It's all very seamlessly blended, and the way I discovered it actually is because I smelt it on my flatmate at the time, and I had to ask her, you know, what was that beautiful fragrance, because the sillage was so amazing on it. I could smell it in the hallway even though she had like already gone downstairs, if you know what I mean. So it has a really lingering presence, that fragrance. And she told me which one it was and I went out and got it. I just had to. It was so amazing. So I wore that solidly for quite a long time, and it's a really fantastic fragrance as well. I probably could purchase that one again now for some reason. I don't think that one would really bother me. I don't know, it's weird, you guys. It's weird how like some fragrances can really have like quite an emotional connection and then others you're not that bothered about, and yeah, it's just so weird. And of course, moving to today, like now, I don't really have a signature scent now, of course, because my collection is so large to me anyway. I have around 50 fragrances or something like that, which would have seemed obscene to me a few years ago, you guys, honestly. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of perfumes for me. Maybe one day I'll have a signature scent again, who knows. It would be quite nice, I think, to have like a signature fragrance for people to remember you by, and like just that consistency, you know, every time somebody sees you or goes in to hug you, you know, they smell the same fragrance on you. I think there's something really romantic about that, having your own signature scent. I think it's a really nice thing to have, but just at the moment with the nature of my channel and how many fragrances I own, it would just be impossible for me to choose a signature scent, and it's just not practical because of course I have so many perfumes to use. So I mean, maybe something that might be kind of interesting actually is if I did a video on like my top 10 signature scent worthy fragrances. If I was going to choose a signature fragrance, what would be my top 10 options, that kind of thing. So let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that kind of video. It's one that I could definitely film for you if you were interested. But no, I don't have a signature scent now, of course, because I wear a different perfume every day basically. So that brings us to the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. So yeah, like I said at the start of the video, if you want to do this topic, please feel free to do this same topic as a tag if you want. I would love to hear about some of your signature fragrances throughout the years. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so very much for watching. I appreciate all of your continued love and support, and I will see you on the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.